Welcome to our Cardinals countdown here on ABC 15 Arizona's Facebook page. Craig Fouie, Colin Harmon in for an injured coach. Colin, the only thing I'm hearing from the Cardinals is that he's got hurt celebrating yesterday's win.
I was going to say, I think he threw his back out celebrating a 5-0 start for the first time since 1974.
That is not good. And obviously, we know the injuries took their toll yesterday in the Cardinals win over the 49ers, but we didn't expect Coach to miss. So we wish him the best of luck and hope he stays healthy. And, that's all we can say is just get back as soon as you can, Coach, because me and Colin got to fill in some pretty big shoes here.
I know, speedy recovery. Hopefully he's back after a win and a 6-0 start. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Hey, let's start with the breaking news here real quick, Colin. That's that John Gruden out as the Raiders head coach.
I mean, bombshell, but with the way things were going, you knew it was only a matter of time, especially when that New York Times article came out with the full, complement of emails that go beyond just the one comment. So he wasn't lasting more than a couple hours once that came out. So, and that shoe dropped tonight.
Andrew wants to know who got hurt yesterday, Colin. Should we run down the list with him?
The coach. Go ahead.
Max Williams, a tight end. Andrea, thank you. Max Williams, tight end, got hurt with just a horrible knee injury. And we don't know yet the details, but it sure looks like, and we're hearing rumors and reports that he'll be out for the season. So that's a big blow to the Cardinals offense because Max was just coming into his own this year after struggling through an injury-prone season last year, and he was just kind of becoming a key part of this offense, right, Colin? I mean, he was a viable weapon.
You've known this team for a long, long time. Was this the best tight end or the most involved tight end they've had in 2 decades? I mean, how far back does it go?
For the most part, yeah. We haven't seen a tight end involved in the offense for a long time, even though everyone's been screaming for it. We just haven't seen it. And then the other key injury was offensive center, the veteran, 3-time Pro Bowler, Rodney Hudson. That was a tough blow, too, because Rodney just controls that line of scrimmage and all the blocking schemes and helps Kyler.
And Kyler talked about it after the game last night, just saying, I talked to Rodney. It sounds like he'll be good. So hopefully that's the positive going forward. The way it looked, the way he's holding it, it didn't look great, especially when it comes to rib injuries. But, if Kyler's saying he said he should be good to go next week, then fingers crossed because they need him. I mean, it's clear how much of a difference maker he makes on that line and just keeping the whole offense calm and kind of knowing what's coming in terms of pressures, this, that, and the other. As far as injuries, outside of like Kyler and DeAndre Hopkins, those are 2 crucial ones to the offense yesterday.
And we don't know about Kyler, right? I mean, he was kind of massaging his pectoral muscle there early after that Nick Bosa hit. And then later the trainers were massaging and working on his arm, his throwing arm. So I didn't hear him say anything about being injured after the game yesterday. We won't hear from him until Wednesday, but he continued to play. So that's a good sign.
A 17-10 win against division rivals certainly came at a cost yesterday. They've been fairly lucky when it comes to this stuff so far, especially compared to the 49ers, who can't catch a break for the last 2 seasons. But yeah, that hurts. And I feel bad for Max Williams. I mean, this is a guy that had an ankle injury that just nagged him all last season. And he's been trying to just stay healthy and show what he's got. And we saw that for, 4 games and a quarter. Just how much of a weapon he could be and kind of a safety net for Kyler. And to lose that off, that was really rolling is a big bummer. And the way everybody was talking about it, and I mean, the replay, that was hard to watch. Like, I think even though Cliff said we'll know in a few days, I mean, I think everyone kind of gleaned from seeing that yesterday and what everybody was saying afterwards, that's it for the year.
Tia says prayers for healing. So thanks, Tia, for that. We appreciate that because I'm sure the Cardinals will appreciate that too. Kim says 5-0, crazy. Listen, you mentioned it earlier, Colin.
Hey, I know that guy in the picture.
1974 was the last time they were started a season 5-0.
They went 7-0 that year and then lost to the Dallas Cowboys. 1922, they went 6-0. You know who they lost to?
Wow.
The Canton Bulldogs.
The Canton
Other
Bulldogs.
than that, their other 5-0 starts, they've ended they've been snapped at a 5-game win streak.
Who doesn't remember the Canton Bulldogs, right?
Yep. America's team back then is what I was hearing.
Here's the good news: the Cardinals are 5-0, and that's we haven't seen that ever here, not since they've become the Arizona Cardinals. Obviously, they were the St. Louis Cardinals under head coach Don Coryell back then, but that's a long time. That's a long time to not start 5-0. They're the only team in the NFL undefeated at this point. They were last week. They are again this week. But this week, Colin, they go on the road to take on Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns.
Baker's banged up himself. It certainly didn't look that way. The way they were slinging around the yard in LA yesterday. Putting up 42 points. The thing that's a concern, especially when it comes to Rodney Hudson and Kelvin Beacham's been banged up on the offensive line, is you got Myles Garrett and this Pat that gets up quarterbacks. Now I don't know what Garrett's health is, going into this Sunday, but that's a concern. I mean, this is a good Cleveland Browns team, and I'll say probably a pissed off Cleveland Browns team that they lost to the Chargers the way they did yesterday. So the Cardinals are gonna have their hands full going on the road there into the dog pound.
Nikki's got a comment. She says, "I'm thinking Cardinals can go undefeated the next few games, but I wonder what team will hand them their first loss, give them their first loss. Fingers crossed." I mean, you're kind of leaning toward, I know the Browns are 2.5-point favorites. They were earlier when I checked today. Is it the Browns this week that hand them their first loss?
I think so. That was always going to be a tough road game, and Cleveland's a team that's, going to be fighting for a playoff spot here. So when the schedule came out, I thought this was a loss. Obviously, none of us expected the Cardinals to start 5-0, but they're not going 17-0, and this is a tough one. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe the way the offense played yesterday will be a wake-up call, and they'll kind of find themselves again the way they've looked, through the first 4 weeks of the season. Scoring 30-plus points and putting up 400-plus yards. But despite Cleveland giving up 47 yesterday, they have been a good defense prior.
Barbara says Cardinals all the way from Barbara. Thank you, Barbara. Here's my thing. When you look at the Browns this week, they are the number one rushing team in the league when it comes to rushing yards per game, averaging 187.6 per game. The Cardinals defense is number 28 against the rush, giving up 139 yards a game. So that to me is what jumps off the page instantly, is like, oh my gosh, they've got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt in the backfield. And I'm concerned if the Cardinals can't slow down that running game, then what happens? I'm not too worried about the Browns passing game. They're 24th in the league, but those are always skewed because if you're number one rushing, you don't have to throw the ball as much. Oh,
great point. I mean, they've got 2 starting running backs on their team, and they ran wild over the Chargers yesterday, and all season they've had a great output. So, and the Cardinals, whether it was Dalvin Cook, they shut down Derrick Henry in week 1, but Dalvin Cook ran wild on them in the first half. Even the Niners yesterday, although the Cards defense only gave up 10 points and were great on, 3rd and 4th down situations, they were pretty one-dimensional with Trey Lance just kind of running the ball, and they still gained, close to 400 yards and were able to ball on the Cardinals. They got into Cardinals territory 8 of their 9 drives. San Francisco did yesterday. They only came away with 10 points, so it's kind of the bend but don't break. But teams have been able to move the ball on the ground with relative ease against the Cardinals. So yeah, that's a big concern.
Okay, Alan Lindstrom brings up the question that everybody's been talking about today. We need Larry Fitzgerald back. And again, I know the comments were Larry can come back and play tight end now. Larry's not a tight end. Larry doesn't want to come back and block, right? And maybe go down for a pass play once every 60 plays. But yeah, we'd love to have Larry back. Larry said he's not feeling it. We don't know. I know he's going to be at the Mercury Suns, the grand opening of Footprint Center on Wednesday as a Suns owner. I don't think Larry, and as Cliff said, what'd he say? Larry's been golfing too much lately?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a little focused on golfing, not practicing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Irie at 37 years old, lining up on the offensive line just against those big boys. That doesn't sound like a whole lot of fun to a body that's probably already hurting a little bit.
Yeah.
That ain't happening.
39-year-old. Yeah. Herb says this is why you have to play the game. Cards are very underappreciated team. And yeah, I mean, listen, they're 5-0. They're ranked number 1 in the entire NFL. They're number 1 in the NFC, the entire NFL, the only undefeated team. They've got a 1-game lead over the Rams, 3-game lead over the Niners and Seahawks at this point, but still underrated. So, yeah. John says, well, unless they win all the way, what's he say? Well, unless they win all the way to game number 17, the Cowboys will have a chance to blow their winning streak again. Ha, ha, ha. Way to go, John. Obviously, Cowboys fan. Kim says, Larry is not the savior in football. He wants to retire, exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. And then Nikki says, Fitz is involved with basketball. Good for him. We still love him. Absolutely. Who doesn't?
Right?
Larry's the guy.
I mean,
he's the man.
It's the easy thing to throw out there. How great would it be? The Cardinals are 5-0. Let's bring Larry back. You know, nah.
You think a wide receiver who ended up being moved to slot wants to come back as a tight end and play against big? How about playing against Chandler Jones, right? Or Marcus Golden? Would that doesn't sound very appealing to me. I don't think I'd want to do that.
Or come back Sunday and you can chip on Myles Garrett. How fun does that sound?
Yeah, not fun at all.
No,
not fun at all. So no, I guess when I look ahead, I like the Cardinals. Listen, they've played. This will be their 4th road game in 6 games.
Crazy! I can't believe they only had 2 home games.
Yeah, that's it.
But we were talking about it. So you remember that?
Go ahead.
Good. I was just going to say that we were talking about it, this past weekend, just the schedule ahead. And I know you don't want to get too far down the road. Certainly the players aren't. They're like, hey, we're just trying to go 1-0 every week. But you look at their schedule, it's favorable to go on a run here. They got a bunch of teams between the Seahawks who don't have Russell Wilson, the Texans who are horrible, the Packers who they've got Rodgers, but they're banged up and haven't looked like their usual selves. I mean, and then the 49ers again, like the Cards have a chance to make a serious run here.
Yeah, Michael Garcia says, come on, people, let's just enjoy the Cards having a good start. No kidding, right? We need to celebrate it, Michael. That's for sure. We just need to say, you know what? They're 5-0. We've never seen this. We have never seen 5-0 here. Let's enjoy it for at least a couple of days, right?
Well, and it's awesome there's been where probably games that they would have lost in the past, right? They would have found a way to lose, but they've done what it took to win these games and found a way to get over the hump. And that's just it's nice to see with this group. And Cliff in year 3, Kyler in year 3, and kind of the maturation of this whole group. Find a way to get it done. It's a team that's learning how to win, and that is awesome to see.
I like Alan Lindstrom's comment. MVP Kyler Murray. He's going to have a hell of a year for him. Listen, Kyler was not the typical Kyler yesterday that we've seen, over 400 yards passing and 30 points, but he still threw some great passes when it mattered, right? When the game was on the line, he was able to connect with Rondale. Great catch by Rondale. An underthrown ball to D-Hop to get him down 30 yards closer to the goal line, but D-Hop came up with a great catch. And then that touchdown strike, holy cow, I read somewhere that had a 28% chance of being completed, and DeAndre Hopkins came up with it.
Wow, look at you, a stat and analytics guy, throwing the numbers.
I read a lot.
That was big time. That was that connection, the whole drive. I mean, Hopkins just – even on the one you say it was underthrown, Kyler's running out of the pocket to his left. You could see him directing Hopkins to go down. They're just those guys are in sync. And everybody, I mean, Rondale to make the plays week in and week out that he has as a rookie that kind of make your eyes bug out. Like, you got to be kidding me. This guy just caught that or did that.
Yeah.
And Kirk and AJ Green. I mean, this is a fun team to watch, and that's the best part about this. I mean, it's just every Sunday you go into a game, like, I'm actually looking forward to this. as opposed to what most Cardinals fans are used to of, oh, again.
Yeah. Kalen says, I have hope for the season. Go Cards. Yeah, we do too. I mean, listen, I'm very hopeful, right? 5-0, you can't, I mean, we've never seen it. So you're 5-0. That means if you lost the rest of your games, it's still a great start, but that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to put that out there. John says, well, if they win Sunday, I think people better believe they are for real. That's a great point because Colin just mentioned the road ahead, and you come home for the Texans, I think is the next game, right, after the Browns. And so, yeah, I mean, you got a chance. You got a real chance.
I think if they win in Cleveland, that'll impress a lot of people, anybody that are still doubters here. Because you look and they dominated the Titans in week 1. They dominated the Rams. Nobody expected that. So they've had 2 phenomenal showings. There are the 3 games you kind of look at it. Should have lost the Vikings game.
Yeah.
They had the kick. Struggled against a Jags team that's a disaster. And then yesterday against a rookie quarterback without it's kind of been a mixed bag. Hey, win's a win. Like 5-0, they are what their record says they are. But to go into Cleveland against a good football team, I think that would go a long way.
Alan says offensive line needs to guard Kyler Murray, and I know that's autocorrect because your earlier one said office online needs some work. But we know what you mean, Alan. It's the offensive line, and that's the issue with Rodney Hudson. We don't know the extent of that injury. Max Garcia came in and played well. I mean, coach said that. He's like, Max came in and played well. I saw that Pro Football Focus graded him out pretty well for coming in and playing. So, but he's not Rodney Hudson. He's not a 3-time Pro Bowler veteran at the offensive line center position that can call the blocking schemes and talk to Kyler between plays or even at the line of scrimmage. So that's important. So this is so far. Listen, I'm riding the bandwagon. I'm on the bandwagon. You can be on the train for ASU. I'm on the bandwagon for the Cardinals, right? I'm on both.
Hey, it's a good time to be a football fan here in the Valley. We don't get to say that a whole lot.
No, we don't. Barbara Peck-Williams, baby Yoda Murray all the way. Kyler said a couple weeks ago he's never seen Star Wars. How about that? Almost hard to believe, isn't it?
I'm almost there with him. I think I've seen like 1.
Wow. That's probably all you needed to see. If you saw the first one, that's all you needed. Defensive line, Chandler Jones, J.J. Watt needs to get some movement, but J.J. Watt was awesome this week. No kidding. J.J. Watt, and I got to give credit to Zach Allen, the third-year defensive lineman, really coming into his own. He's been shadowing J.J. Watt ever since J.J. was signed, and it's sort of like it looks like a baby, baby J.J. next to him. It's like little mini-me, but he's learning and having a lot of fun. So Cardinals win 5-0. They go to Cleveland this Sunday. It's a 1:05 start, I think, here Mountain Time.
That is correct.
Yeah, afternoon prime. It's the game of the week, I think, right? So should be a fun one. But hey, guys, thanks for joining us. This is Colin stepping in for the puppet who hurt his back, and hopefully he's back. Get that pun? He's back next week. But thank you for joining us here on this Facebook Live. Go Cardinals. Have a great night. Have a great week. And we will talk to you next week here after another Cardinals win. Just saying.